We are just 2 days away from the 2023 NFL Draft. What do you say we get the good vibes going? Hit the sub button. Let's go into the first night of the draft with some really good vibes. What's good? Welcome into Titans Today. Like I said, just 2 days until Ran Carthon and Mike Vrabel make some big decisions to hopefully repair this roster going into 2023. The draft is just 2 days away. Get super excited. Look, there's been a lot of talk about what are the Titans going to do. Are they going to trade up? Are they going to trade back? Are they going after a quarterback? Are they not? We've heard a lot of different things coming from a lot of different sources. But Ran Carthon said in his pre-draft meeting with the media, if it's not a direct quote from me, Mike, Amy, or anybody, then 9 times out of 10, it's not real. So there you have it. You've heard a lot of things, but he's saying, look, if you didn't hear it from me, if you didn't hear it from somebody who is important in this organization, don't even waste your time believing it. We are going to talk a little bit about some draft targets that the Titans could go out and get. Why not? You got to think about who they're going to grab with that number 11 overall pick. We're going to talk about it. But before we do, just to give you a little bit of an overview of that meeting that Ran Carthon did have, that pre-draft meeting with the media. First up, there will not be a Derrick Henry trade. He straight up came out and said, look, I have not gotten a single phone call about Derrick Henry being traded. It doesn't look like the King is going anywhere. Titans fans, you can relax. I believe Ran Carthon when he says that. He's been pretty honest and open with all of how he feels about a lot of things, what he plans on doing, and he said pretty much that it's all smoke. It's other teams trying to push their own agenda. Derrick Henry won't be traded, essentially. He did say and confirm that they did ask Kevin Byard to take a pay cut. He talked to him about 2.5 weeks ago. He hasn't been around the facility. He hasn't been at the voluntary meetings and practices or whatnot, which is not really in line with what we know Kevin Byard to do. He normally is at all of that kind of stuff. So it seems that they still have not gotten on the same page. We do know that they did ask him to take a pay cut. Ran Carthon is still talking to him, but for now, they haven't quite figured things out. So put a pin in it. We'll circle back to it when we have more information. And Ryan Tannehill's status. This is probably the only topic that Ran Carthon didn't come out and completely give an answer. In fact, when he was asked about if Ryan Tannehill would be on the roster, if he would be QB1 for 2023, he told the media, Ryan knows where he stands with us, and that's really all that matters to me. Ran Carthon had a conversation with Ryan Tannehill in February. They know what's going on. The public doesn't know what's going on, clearly, but they have it figured out, and Ran Carthon doesn't think anybody else needs to know what's going on right now. So their business is their business. Ryan Tannehill and he are on the same page, apparently, but we still do not know what will happen with Ryan Tannehill or the quarterback situation in Tennessee, but we will probably get a better idea on Thursday, that first night of the draft. Will Ryan Tannehill be QB1 in 2023? Do you think he's still going to be on the roster? Is he still going to be the guy? Or are the Titans going to go a different way? Let me know down in the comment section. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Head to the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, the draft is in 2 days. And lucky for you, we will be live all 3 days. For all 7 rounds, we will have live coverage on our draft channel at youtube.com/chatsportstv. You can keep up with all the analysts here at Chat Sports. We will have it live coverage, y'all. Doesn't get better than that. You'll be entertained at the same time. This is the place to be if you want to watch the NFL draft, if you want to stay updated on everything going on, not just for the Titans, but across the league. As it happens, this is the place to be. Make sure you tune in to our live NFL draft watch party. Like I said, we're going to go over some targets that the Titans could acquire in the NFL draft starting on Thursday. Now, some of these picks don't fall for that number 11 pick, but we'll just talk about some names that could land in Tennessee and hopefully help this roster out. First up is Jackson Smith-Njigba, a wide receiver. We have talked about him plenty of times before. He's been linked to Tennessee. Mike Vrabel was at his pro day, had some good things to say about JSN, he's a great route runner, but we do have to take into consideration that hamstring injury that kept him out of 2022 play for a while. That's why his 2021 stats are up. 2021 had a pretty good year, specifically in that Rose Bowl. 15 receptions, 346 yards, averaged 23 yards per catch, and had 3 touchdowns. He had a great performance in the Rose Bowl versus Utah. Again, lots of good qualities in a receiver, kind of what Tennessee is looking for. But again, hamstring injury kind of raised some red flags because it is a soft tissue injury, which we know Mike Vrabel is not a big fan of. Again, did say some good things about JSN. Would be, excuse me, nice to pair alongside Treylon Burks. The next receiver I want to talk about, Jonathan Mingo. And first off, we're talking about receivers right off the bat because we know that is probably the biggest need on this roster. Not probably, it definitely is. Currently, the receiver room is the worst in the league. And if they don't do something about it, it's going to stay that way. Jonathan Mingo is probably a little bit of a later round pick if the Titans do decide to go in another direction earlier in the draft. Maybe not grabbing somebody like JSN at number 11 and going after an offensive lineman for some reason, which very realistically could happen. Jonathan Mingo would be a little bit of a later round pick. He's got the perfect size and speed combo for a slot receiver, but you do have Kyle Phillips on the roster. Hopefully he's not as injured as he was last year. Again, another receiver you could look at. But name a receiver you want the Titans to draft. It could be one of the guys I just named. It could be another one like Quentin Johnston or Zay Flowers or Jordan Addison or whoever else you can name. You think it's a great wide receiver prospect in this draft. You think the Titans should go get him. Head down to the comment section and let me know. Switching positions, talking about another need on this Titans roster, the O-line. Again, they started to kind of patch it up a little bit in free agency. Still not quite exactly where you want it to be. So we're going to talk about a few guys that could be added to hopefully level up that O-line. Peter Skoronski, another guy we have mentioned a couple times on the show. Look, probably, realistically, will be off the board by the time number 11 comes around, but if he happens to fall, it would be a great thing. He's got very good technique. He's quick hands, quick feet, good all around, just a very good addition to an offensive line, and he's got a great work ethic. And when you're bringing rookies in, you want them to have that hunger and that drive to succeed in the league. He is willing to put in the work. Great guy to add. Another great guy to add would be Paris Johnson, who we have linked him to Tennessee plenty of times before. However, his draft stock is rising, and I think other teams are starting to catch on to how good he can be, how good he is, and how beneficial he would be to an O-line. Again, this is a very versatile guy for a Tennessee offensive line that really isn't sure how it's going to play out or how it's going to look this season. Bringing in a guy who can kind of play multiple positions would be a plus. Absolutely. Having somebody who can fill whatever hole there is, that would be great. He's got great size. He's another athletic guy. And like I said, his draft stock is kind of rising. So there's a chance that he's not on the board at number 11, which brings me to the next draft target, O'Cyrus Torrence, who will probably be on the board at number 11. This is another guy that is kind of a little bit of a later round pick. Still a good addition to an O-line. He's a huge guy. He is great at run blocking, which for a run-first, run-heavy offense with Derrick Henry in the backfield, that's great. Now, he does struggle a little bit with the second level and in pass protection, which could not really help out a Titans offense that is trying to figure out the passing game and fix that part of the game. You probably want to bring in somebody who's going to help elevate that gameplay. But, again, great in run blocking. I don't think that's something that you can really teach. So he's coming in, could help out this O-line. Again, this would be a little bit more of a later round pick. If you had to pick out of the 3 guys that I just talked about, let me know who you would pick. Peter Skoronski, type PS. Paris Johnson, type Pete. J, if you're an Osiris Torrance fan, type OT. Head down to the comment section. Let me know. Feel free to elaborate or name somebody else that you think would be a better offensive lineman for the Tennessee Titans. Kind of rounding out with quarterbacks here. Again, the quarterback question is such a big one right now. We really have no clue if Tennessee is actually interested in a quarterback or whether it's just doing due diligence and kind of playing the game that the media wants Tennessee to play right now. Will Levis. Will Levis has been linked to Tennessee. They did attend his pro day. They had a meeting with him. Kind of very similar to Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to say it. He is often compared to Ryan Tannehill with some of his skill sets and some of the traits that he has. He's got an arm, and he's got the look. He's like the prototype quarterback, right? He's got a great deep ball. He's a smart kid, but he struggles in the pocket, and he kind of makes some silly mistakes, I'll say it. That doesn't mean that those things can't be fixed, but if you're bringing in a quarterback, you probably want him to be able to handle pocket pressure, especially if you're bringing him onto a team that is struggling offensively for pass protection. Another quarterback we've talked about, Hendon Hooker. Now, Hooker's draft stock seems to be going up. There are some concerns about his age and about the ACL injury, but he's another one that has kind of risen recently in recent days leading up to the draft. And there is a chance that one, which I forgot to say, Will Levis may fall to 11, and as well as Hendon Hooker kind of being, it would be a little bit more understandable for the Titans to grab Hendon Hooker at 11 because that draft stock is rising. He might not be there in later rounds. Again, dual threat here, which is great for the way that this Tennessee offense runs. He would kind of relieve some pressure off of Derrick Henry. You've got a broken down O-line, maybe not the best receiver room. He can get some work done on his feet. We talked about his qualities multiple times. I mean, it really is what it is. He's a good quarterback. You really just have to take into consideration the ACL injury as well as the fact that he is a little bit older. He's 25. So do you want to risk that? Well, that's up to Ran Carthon, I guess. Should the Titans even draft a quarterback? Do you think they should wait it out a year with Ryan Tannehill and worry about the quarterback situation next year? Should they trade for a quarterback, or should they draft a guy like Will Levis or Hendon Hooker, maybe Anthony Richardson? Who else? Who knows who else could be in the quarterback carousel for the Titans right now? Let me know in the comment section. Type D for draft, type P for pass. And the last draft target I want to talk about is Tucker Kraft, a tight end. Now, this isn't the biggest need on the roster, right? Wide receiver, offensive line, probably the bigger needs. They did a good job of pairing up that defense during free agency. But you've got Chig. You probably need a little bit more depth. And Chig proved himself last season, so he'll absolutely be tight end one. Austin Hooper no longer on the roster. You need to bring in somebody that just kind of adds that depth. And Tucker Kraft is probably one of the best options for doing that. He's a gifted athlete, and I mean, he just makes things happen. He's very skilled, very athletic, extremely versatile. He can play inline, slot, outside, and he does it well. And look, this is a guy that's compared to Dallas Goedert, so that it is what it is. That's everything about Tucker Kraft that I think, why not? Why not go grab this guy a little bit later if he's available and add some depth, pair him with Chig, give the offense a little bit of more of a chance, I would say. Unless you fix this receiver room, there's really no chance. But add some depth to the tight end room, and you're helping yourself out a little bit. Those are a few top draft prospects for the Titans who they could go grab in maybe round 1, round 2. Some of those guys will fall later. But like I said, we will keep you updated on all the news, rumors, analysis, any little bit of information we get leading up to the draft. We will make sure you guys have it. So make sure you hit that sub button. As always, we appreciate y'all for watching. We'll see y'all soon. Tighten up.